The program give a little, diversions because without going in the same direction. So I took much interest on this subject because I found that a lot of our members are attracted to this practice. Can you believe this? Because they feel that there's nothing wrong in this. There's nothing wrong in this. So I think a couple of years ago, Brother Petkov spoke to me about this subject because he said, Brother, this is like a storm. It is just capturing all the people in Europe. And to my utter surprise, very recently, a friend of mine from New Delhi, he sent me some captions that how the Hare Rama, Hare Krishna movement and these yoga practices capturing the West, and thousands of people gathering in soccer stadiums, and the swamis from India going there, and they're performing or teaching these kind of things, and they are so much amazed. And when I was traveling in Europe, some of our pastors came to me and told, Brother, this presentation, I did this presentation to them, and of course, little slight changes, but and they said, Brother, this presentation we want because we have to talk to our youth because they feel there's absolutely nothing wrong in this. We should practice this for our, well-being. So I feel that, this is very important to warn our members, rather reaching the new members or the people who are practicing this yoga. It is very important, equally important, that our members should be given the awareness of this yoga and how dangerous it is. As Brother mentioned, the practices make us perfect, because the practices coming in and practices that we develop, and as ministers we teach and we warn, make our denomination stronger. So this is the core value of this subject, and it is for education purpose. And it is, have you ever seen this symbol? They just make this symbol. And, to my surprise, we happened to go, Brother Suarez and myself, we went to a university about 35 minutes drive away from here. And we went there and we told them that, we want to study some for our ministers. We want to have a course and we want to have some kind of, development for them. And they said, yeah, we have something like that. We were just going in the direction that, some kind of, value added knowledge for our ministers. But they said, they gave us a brochure which has that, like this symbol, and that they are going in the direction, they are teaching these kind of practices to the students in the universities in America. So it is in Matthew 5:48, we read, be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. We have to be perfect. There should not be any compromise. We have to be perfect. Okay, the definition or meaning of yoga. What is yoga? For many in the West, yoga is simply a system of physical exercise, a means of strengthening the body, improving flexibility, and even healing or preventing a variety of bodily ailments. So this is just yoga. What is wrong in that? There's nothing wrong. And I have spoken to some of our members, and I don't want to disclose names or indications, but they said, Brother, we feel very good after going for this. We feel very nice. It is very nice for us. It's helping us. So, sorry? Yes. So, it is time that for us to warn them and understand what this is. So, this is kind of for many West, that is in the West, yoga is simply a system of physical exercise. I have some books with me which I did some research. So this is yoga and meditation. And in this, I like to read a small passage. It says, the introduction, Yoga, in this book, the page 19 says, yoga is a system of physical and mental exercises designed to instill a sense of tranquility and well-being in the practitioner. Its origins are lost in the midst of time, though estimates suggest that it has been practiced in India for over 5,000 years and is believed to have been inspired by the contemplation of animals, particularly cats, as they stretched. Observers noted that after a good stretch and arch, the animal's energy and alertness was increased, and so they sought to utilize this knowledge for human benefit. Are we learning from these cats? Okay. Now, we go further. We can see a lot of Westerners were being attracted, but if we inquire into the history and the philosophy of yoga, we discover that much more than the system physical exercise for health yoga is, because it goes beyond that, physical exercises. Yoga is an ancient path to spiritual growth. It is a path enshrined in much of the sacred literature of India. A person who practices yoga is called yogi in India. He's a yogi. And people worship him, and people consider him as a guru. And he come and teach them, and he tell whatever they say amen. So that kind of practice going on in India. And this is coming to the West now. And it is slowly attracted the people. It is a totally a different diversion, so I don't want to take that diversion, but just to mention to you that when the flood took place, Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And out of them, one went towards Africa. Who was that? Yes. And his ancestry, his son married Semiramis, and it goes on. And this Semiramis created a religion which went to India, right? And the worship of a woman came to practice in India because of that. Because there are well-known evidences that even the diasporas of different languages of India, they believe and they strongly believe that the race in South India went from East Africa, maybe Somalia or something like that. I belong to South India. So something like that. So here, those same practices, they follow through in India. So this, now, it is coming to the West. An ancient path to spiritual growth. And it is a path enshrined in much of the sacred literature of India. Lot of literature is connected with this practice. In other words, yoga is not just body work to overcome depression and stress, fatigue, or back pain. Especially yoga emphasizes control over the activities of body, senses, and mind. Yoga, your mind is the center of your life. Good thoughts, good body needs anyway. Both should be treated and controlled to keep it healthy and sustainable. These captions were taken from these books. This is actually mentioned by the yogis. They are describing what yoga is. And the term yoga actually means what? According to the traditions, yoga means union. Union with what? Yes. A union of the finite, jiva. Jiva is a finite in Indian language. And transitory self with the infinite Brahman, eternal self. It is a unity, something like that. And Brahman is a term often used for the Hindu concept of God or ultimate reality. Now, some people, they don't want to use the term God. Even among the Hindus, they say the energy or the ultimate soul or some names they try to use. And it is something like, a unity of our soul with this. And it is an personal divine substance that pervades, envelopes, and underlies everything. Basically, the creator, sustainer, and protector. These are the functions of God, whereas they have three gods for this: Shiva, Brahma, Vishnu. They have three gods in Hinduism. So when we talk about Hinduism, I will explain about that. And historical viewpoint is that the practice and goal of yoga found in the Upanishads, a book of Hindu worship deities probably written between 1000 or 500 before Christ. One Upanishad tells us, unite the light within you with the light of Brahman. They use different methods of this, and yoga is one. There are so many methods, meditation practices, and so many things. They want to see how we can unite ourselves with God, unite ourselves with the supernatural power, and unite ourselves with the universe and all these energies. So yoga is one tool they like to use. And continuation of that, the Bhagavad Gita, the classical Hindu text, possibly written as early as the 5th century BC, in chapter 6, Krishna declares, the Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he declares, thus joy supreme comes to the yogi who is one with Brahman, with God. The yogi means the person who practices yoga or teaches yoga. So, the yogi. And AD 150, the yogi Patanjali systemized yoga into 8 distinct limbs. In his Yoga Sutras, these 8 limbs are like staircase supposedly leading to the yogi from ignorance to enlightenment. The word enlightenment you find in Hinduism, Buddhism, and many Eastern religions. Enlightenment. We should get enlightenment. What can you think of this? When Adam and Eve were in Garden of Eden, Satan came to them and told, you eat this, you will get enlightened. Enlightened means you will have more knowledge. You will have the knowledge of God. You will have more extended knowledge where the God can, you can experience Him more. So this is the enlightenment we can see. There are 8 steps of yoga. To obtain benefits of yoga, in fact, there are 8 steps that must be performed to tired Ashtanga called yoga. Here are 8 stages of yoga in disciplining body and mind. If the 8th stage is done routinely and regularly, peaceful and healthy effect will soon have. This is what they say. You have to follow systematically, then you will have peace in you. You will feel good. And 8 limbs of steps of yoga is, yama, the self-control, niyama, the religious observances, asana, the postures. Asanas means, you can see that, different postures, they believe in that. And pranayama, the breathing exercise. And pratihara, that is the sense control. Dharana, the concentration. And the dhyana, the deep contemplation. Or that is, dhyana means the meditation. And samadhi, enlightenment. The samadhi means that, you reach the level of God and you are equal and you unite together. And this is the main source or the main aim of yoga. Nothing else. So our people in the West, or maybe our brethren here, they don't know the deep meaning behind this. They don't know why this is being introduced to the Christians so that they can be deceived. And this is, I can say, it is like a sugar-coated pill. Like, when the children, they don't want to take pills, the manufacturers, they sugar-coat it. And the children, they just put it in the mouth and they take it. But the bitterness is inside. So this is a sugar-coated pill, my dear brethren. The yama, if you say, the restriction include abstinence means hurting other beings, whether in thought, word, or permutation. And pantang, error. Never steal, never indulgence or of lust or abstinence have rights of others. So this is yama, means self-control. Self-control. You have to control yourself. Yes. You don't have to have any help. You can control yourself. Because this Hindu religion, or the Buddhism especially, a philosophy, they teach, tomorrow I'll be talking about Buddhism, and they teach you don't have to have any help from anyone. You don't need any Holy Spirit, you don't need Jesus Christ, you don't need God to help you. You yourself is God. You can control yourself. Why you want others? So we have some techniques for you to improve and come to that kind of stage. So this is what they teach. And Niyama, that is a religious observances, means civilizing themselves and include external and internal purification, peace, meditate, study and worship before the Lord Almighty. They say, you can worship. If you want worship, you do it. And I have noticed many yogi teachers in the West, they never oppose or they will never object, you are a Christian, you have to worship the Hindu God. They say, no, don't do that. You have to worship your God. You come here, you worship your God and they worship their God. No problem. We all sit together and we do that. This is what they say. So this is a kind of a trick or something, a diversion. They have some compromise. And asana, the postures, literally means the comfortable posture during the movement of this body remains comfortable in a very relaxed, and breathing deeply and naturally accompany this posture, carrying a large amount of oxygen absorbed into the bloodstream. The breathing exercise is very good, and they believe, and different postures will help you to do this, but I don't have time to go into much details. The postures, we can analyze the postures, how these things were. I'll show you some pictures, how these were practiced there, and how that relates with the Hindu gods, and how that relates with the Hinduism. And this is pranayama, the breathing exercises, and they have different types of breathing exercises they have, and they feel that together with the control of vital energy, life is an energy, prana, in the body. So this is a kind of exercise they practice, and this is pratyahara, that is means controlling the senses, and consists of withdrawing the senses, and you can control your senses. You should have a proper control of your sense. This is what they teach. You don't have to have any control by others. Like they say that it's a remote control from God or heaven. They control you. No, don't allow that. You should have control of yourself. And dharana, the concentration. You have to concentrate. You have to concentrate. For example, I'll tell you, they call the meditation practice in Buddhism, they call anapanasati bhavana. That the bhavana means that meditation. They believe, and they sit in the padmasana, that is, they sit like this, across the legs, and they sit on the ground, and they keep their hands like this, and they meditate that only the air goes in through the nostrils, and it goes in, now it goes in, it goes in, it goes, and then it expands your lungs, and now it goes down again, and it comes up. Only that. They won't do anything else. And that is the kind of meditation they practice. And they feel, oh, I'm feeling so good. I'm feeling so good. This is a kind of trance that you're trying to get in, and forget about the whole world and your worries and everything you forget, and they feel very good, and after some time they feel that okay, they're uniting with God or the infinite being. So dhyana, the deep contemplation or meditation, as I explained. So this is through different asanas, it enhances their practices. So it is a focusing, the focus or how you can do this contemplation or the meditation will improve your concentration. So samadhi is enlightenment. This is the ultimate goal of yoga. Ultimate goal of yoga, samadhi, is an intense concentrated state of mind achieved through meditation. In Hindu Raja Yoga, This is regarded as the final stage. Samadhi is a very important part or idea of Hinduism. Vedanta, Buddhism, and Jainism. These are all these isms, all these religions. Their ultimate goal is to unite with God. So this will help. So, my dear brethren, so it is very, very sad that even our members, our brethren, our young children are attracted to this kind of practice. So we have to be very careful. The samadhi means the concentration is samadhi, and that is yoga proper. That is a principal theme of this science, and it is a highest means. So it is a science that you practice and try to unite yourself with God. And Swami Vivekananda, he in 1800s, the latter part of I think 1874 or something, he came to America for a religious conference. And he is well known and well respected by the American and the Western world, Swami Vivekananda. And he said, it is the highest and last stage of yoga. Samadhi is perfect absorption of thought into Supreme Spirit. When one realizes, I and my Father are one. These are his words. He said, I and my Father are one. We want to unite with God, and yoga will help you. So try to do that. So this is what they are presenting. Lord Shiva's statue in Bangalore, India. So you can see, this is a picture that I have taken in Bangalore when I visited. So it is, see that, he is the Lord Shiva, the Hindu, the supreme God. They believe that he's none other that, he is considered the creator or the supreme power by the Hindus. So he is none other than Nimrod in the history. The Nimrod is another version comes like this. So Buddha statue also you can see the same posture or the same position. He's also want to. This is called the Samadhi posture. Brother Sunil will know the Samadhi Buddha Pilima. So Samadhi posture is this. So the Buddhist, we know that in Sri Lanka, so the Buddhism is there, and this posture called Samadhi. So he just enlightened himself to unite with the supreme power. So this is what it shows. And yoga and Christianity, what are the differences? First, yoga and the Christianity have very different concept of God. Yoga is to experience union with God. Most yogis conceive of God as an impersonal spiritual substance coextensive with all of reality. This doctrine is called pantheism. The view that everything is God. It differs markedly from the theism of biblical Christianity. This is pantheism. They believe everything is God. Everywhere you see, God is existing. The differences continue. Secondly, the yoga philosophy teaches that everything is God. It necessarily follows that man too is God. Man too is God. Genesis 3:5 we read, For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. This is what Satan said, and this is what the lie. And finally, yoga conceives man's problem primarily in terms of ignorance. Man simply doesn't realize that he is God. The solution is enlightenment, an experience of union with God. This solution can only be reached through much personal striving and effort. Christianity, however, seems man's primary problem as sin. So, Selected Messages, Book 2, page 443, we read, We are to strengthen our position by dwelling on the Word and by avoiding all oddities and strange exercisings that some would be very quick to catch up and practice. She warned about this. It is coming in. This is coming into our church, and our young people are being attracted. Sister White saw this and she warned the people. And Hatha Yoga, if you go into much details, like you find that, the Hatha Yoga is a primary the concern of two things, asana and pranayama, the breathing and physical exercise, because I have the Hatha Yoga book with me here, and it says for the West, it is nothing. It is nothing. It is just a practice. It is an exercise, a form of exercise. You don't have to worry about. There's no religion involved in this. Here it says, yoga is not a religion, although its practices is used by many religions to help their followers. But later it says, it is, however, essential to have some understanding of the culture from which yoga has sprung if one intends to work with it. Otherwise, the spirit will be missed, and as a result, more harm than good may be done. Can you see this? This is what the yoga is, my dear brethren. So please warn our young people. Please warn them. There is nothing good can come. The closer look of Hatha Yoga, we don't have much time to go through much detail. If anybody wants more details, I can give you this presentation to you. And can yoga be harmful? Swami Prabhavananda warns, he says, unless properly done, there is a good chance of injuring the brain. And those who practice such breathing without proper supervision can suffer a disease which no known science or doctor can cure. So be careful. This is a big warning we have. Can yoga be harmful continuously? There are so many. The Kundalini is this. Kundalini is this, the coiled serpent power. Coiled serpent power. You can see the serpent, and they can compare that with the spine. So, and they also say it is very dangerous. It was variably for many years painful, obsessive. I have passed through almost all stages of mediumstic, psychotic, and other types of mind. For some time, I was hovering between sanity and insanity. It's so dangerous. The great controversy, the compromise between paganism and Christianity resulted in the development of the man of sin, foretold in prophecy as opposing and exalting himself above God. That gigantic system of false religion is a masterpiece of Satan's power, a monument of his effort to seat himself upon the throne to rule the earth according to his will. Ezekiel also says about this. 8:16 we read, how the Ezekiel saw he gave a lot of warnings to Israelites about the practices of the Eastern culture or the Eastern religions. So, and Desire of Ages, there are warnings I can say. And lastly, I like to read these two verses. Can one go up to hot coals and his feet not be burnt? The Proverbs 6:28. And Job is asking in 14:4, who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean? Not one. So, my dear brethren, these are my thoughts, and I like to share with you. Please warn our young people, warn our elders about this danger of this practice of yoga. And also, you can reach the other religions by knowing exactly what this is, and teach them also that, a God of heaven can help us in many things, and whatever our requirements, and the Holy Spirit is the one who will control us and help us to strengthen us. So we don't have to have these kind of practices, the worldly practices, to strengthen ourselves. So may God bless all of us, and thank you very much for your attention. Amen.